Hello, this is Elon Auerbach, and welcome to Mortgage Watch, financial news that you can use. This is the first in a multi-part series called Your Financial Profile in Cyberspace. There's so much going on these days with our information and with the theft of that information in cyberspace. I am predicting that cyberspace, cyber wars, cybersecurity is going to be the way we live for the next 20 or 30 years. So I've started a series to cover some of the ground in that. And the first one in that series, Your Financial Profile in Cyberspace, is about that treasured American institution, the IRS. Yes, I know you love them and really can't wait to do business with them, which is around this time of year. Some of you have filed your tax returns, some of you are getting ready, some of us are going to do extensions, but irregardless, I want to let you know about some very important news regarding the IRS and fraudulent activity. And that is major tax fraud consequences. Many people have become victims. There are tens of thousands of people who have become victims of thieves and those lurking in the shadows who have stolen their identity in regards to the IRS. That means they file a fraudulent tax return, including some of your information, but providing information and some sort of documentation that they can get a refund, either your money that you've paid in or fraudulent money that they never really paid in but are claiming that they did. I'll give you an example. I have a client who was the victim of IRS identity fraud, and someone pretended that they were filing a return with this person, married to this person, claimed that they were a W-2 employee somewhere and had paid in all this money and applied for a refund. The IRS just proceeded to do business with them and sent a letter out to my client's address, addressed to my client and their new supposed spouse, except they weren't married and this person didn't exist. So the IRS has very little ability to actually track this or chase it down, which seems amazing to me. They have a record of you and your tax payments and your tax history and everything you've done. And when that changes dramatically, you'd think that it would be a red flag, but it's not. There are, as I said, tens of thousands of people who've become victimized. In some cases, their monies that they paid into their IRS account were stolen by somebody else. In other cases, it was their identity sent to a new address. In other cases, yet the person just sort of hopscotched on who they were and added their own twist to it so that they could kind of apply with it and take money that they had never paid in. In any case, the IRS is very slow to identify this information and make it public. It's embarrassing, we understand. Many companies that have been the victims of major theft of credit card information are amazingly slow at putting this information out. Yeah, I know it's embarrassing, but really it's pathetic when a government agency cannot own up to it. Worse, they are terrible at dealing with it. So if you become victimized, be very careful. And if you need to, maybe get a hold of your elected official, because you're going to need some assistance in dealing with the IRS. In some cases, people have sent in information, affidavits, went to the police, filed complaints, only be told months later that the IRS doesn't monitor the fax number that someone in the IRS gave them. Bad drama, isn't it? Anyway, the best way to avoid this is to get an IRS identity number. It is not your social security number because that might have already been compromised, but it's a new set of numbers that the IRS has given out. The other thing you should do is, of course, always be careful about your mail, your mailbox security, and anything like that. This is just a word to the wise, one more thing of living in modern life, and I will continue this episode or talking about your security in cyberspace in coming weeks. But for now, because the IRS is front and center in its tax season, I want to make you all aware of it. One other thing of note, it came to light recently that New York State has fined Ocwen Loan Servicing, several $100 million, and California has taken action against them also. Ocwen started out as a small subprime servicer. They did so well taking advantage of people in that they decided to go after anyone they could. They have bought a lot of servicing rights, and if you notice that your servicing of your mortgage has been transferred to Ocwen, start paying attention to your statement. They have put on fraudulent charges. They have double charged certain things. They need to be watched closely. In fact, it's amazing to me that the state of California and the state of New York still allow them to do business. They were fined several $100 million in New York, and they made the president of Auckland resign. But they're so egregious, they're so out there, that I'm amazed that they let them continue to do business. You would think that that isn't in the best interests of U.S. citizens and homeowners. But that's how it goes. I do want to make you aware of that. Next week, we'll dive back into the Federal Reserve and what they're thinking. But as I've said before, they are starting to turn on their switch to watch what's going on in the U.S. economy. U.S. economy doing better. Europe doing much worse. Japan still doing badly. China slowing down. So it remains to be seen when interest rate hikes will happen. My guess is that it won't be till after the third quarter of this year. Again, depending on how the U.S. economy looks. Just thought I'd let you know. Keep an eye on that and keep watching the news and keep tuning into our Mortgage Watch. For now, this is Ilan Auerbach. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.